were questions pertaining to factors affecting youth to participate in terms of access to finance, and then I'll touch also on the mineral beneficiation and the participants of this workshop. The dissemination of information is asked by our own Bill Gates. I think youth sometimes must be very honest with ourselves. I appreciate that youth are not homogeneous group, but when there's information out there, the question is, do we look for the right information, or we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter looking for things that are not developing or growing us? The first panel discussion, during the conclusion, the lady from the investment center says that it must start with self-development. So please do look out for information. For those of us who are privileged to have access to smartphones, but for those ones who do not have access to smartphone, as we sit right here, I can pinpoint some of the chairpersons for the regional youth forums. For our other participants from other countries, we have 14 regional youth forums representing the youth right at the level of the constituency level. So these are the channels that we expect to filter down the information in order for all the youth to have access to the programs that are being offered. Coming back to the issue of access to finance, Emilia Opinji eloquently addressed this issue, and I think we should have a rerun of this program because she really touched on the SME financing strategy. And when it comes to the financing strategy, we have firstly the skills-based lending facility offered by DBN. I understand my sister right there is unfortunately she's out, was lobbying for a youth bank. You know, we have institutions that are given different mandates. And when it comes to Namibia, we have the Development Bank of Namibia that is facilitating this access to finance. The other one that I want to also make emphasis to is the credit guarantee scheme. Because now and again I had the issue of collateral. Now, what does this scheme do? When you have a bankable proposal and you do not have the privilege of putting down a collateral, government has given guarantee. In other words, have funded the scheme in order for a youth or for a woman or for any youth entrepreneur or a business person to then access funding through this credit guarantee scheme. So I think this is one scheme that we should really be on the lookout for. The other scheme that I want to touch on is the venture capital fund that's in progress that will be introduced very soon. In terms of mineral beneficiation from Congeni, the Minister of Trade and Industrialization in her keynote address challenged us to visit their website, including the website of the Ministry of Mines, where the mineral beneficiation policy is on the website, so that you can just familiarize yourself. I do understand the sentiments that you've shared there. Lastly, I just want to touch on the question from the gentleman who spoke last on this side in terms of why we only have more women and less men. And I was shouting here to the moderator to say, can you please have men also asking? Because we really need to start looking at the issue of the boy child. It's a concern. I'm really concerned. We have to ensure, we have to encourage, we have to, I don't know what we need to do, so that we can also empower the men or the boy child to participate in most of these activities that we have. Because when you look at our graduation ceremonies for the tertiary, I'm told now it's around 60-40%. So what happens to the boy child? These are the issues that are giving rise to issues of GBV, because now we have that imbalance in power, especially when it comes to household level in relationships. And where are the boys? We want to see them being active and actively also involved and engaged as well. well. Mr. Moderator, most of the comments I take note. I was doing a lot of note taking, and some, if I'll join the cocktail, we can still further engage. So let's not end here, but let's continue the conversation, and I'll also be checking on our social media pages to see what the questions and the comments were. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just before you hand over the mic, can you just give us one recommendation we can carry forward to the protocol to share with the Secretary? Just one recommendation.
I leave that to the youth. I've had a number of recommendations, and I think that's sufficient. But what I want to urge the youth is, remember that space is characterized only by occupation. So let's occupy our space. Let's take the opportunity that we are given and be part of the development of our continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause to the Honourable Minister. I come to this very difficult education minister here. I'm feeling very. So now let's go ahead, Madam Miroka, just give us.
The big issue is money. I told you we fund entrepreneurs, no experience necessary, no business even. Continental Foundation. You can check out, you can join tfconnect.com if you, right now we're not funding now until January to March every year is our application cycle. You apply and pitch your business, your idea, and you go through. We also education, we also train them for 12 weeks, like a mini MBA before we even fund. We fund entrepreneurs in all 54 African countries. So please, today, just talk about information and being aware. Make sure you join the website tfconnect.com and just follow. So when there's an announcement for call for applications, you're ready. Beyond what we do fund, we get partners, UNDP, USAID, Google, the support. Sometimes they come and say they want entrepreneurs in, let's say, climate field. And then if you're on that platform, you'll be announced, you also know, and then you can apply. So, so just get involved, like I said, occupy your space. There's power in numbers. It's so incredible. As you band together, band together. The stronger, the more you are, the louder your voices. As Africans, we're used to dividing ourselves. I'm from Nigeria. Even in Nigeria, there are like 2,000 divisions. Which was that. Let's not do that. Moving forward, let's begin to unite ourselves. Nigeria, Zambia, Gambia, doesn't matter. We have a common force, which is to transform our continent, which is to be economically empowered in our continent, which is to alleviate poverty in our continent. All of us have a role to play to make that our reality. So please occupy your space. Stand up, own your voice. As Africans, we are powerful. But because of all that's going on around us, we tend to forget that. But just keep screaming. And I'm so glad that those of you who are Namibians are lucky to have a government that even pays attention and makes space for you. Not all countries in Africa are doing that. A lot of them, they use the silence. But for those who are countries where their government is actually being deliberate, being intentional about making space for them, please don't waste it. Use it. Use your power. Use your power.
Thank you. The first one is lack of information. I'm surprised, but just like the Deputy Minister who said, the National Youth Council is a structure that went up to the ground. I think we just need to harness that opportunity. We can disseminate the information from Windhoek down to Musese in a village. I think we have all the chairperson of the Regional Youth Forum, Constituency Youth Forum, youth organization. Let's use it. And all of us have cell phone that can disseminate information. The issue of the red line, I think my sister, I don't remember who asked the red line, to say yes, now I have my cattle on the other side, now I want to send my meat to Ghana. It's not fair, which I agree with you, but I want to assure you that at government level, decision was already taken that one day the red line should go. It's just a modality that we are working on. That we all agree. The red line one day is not going to be left. I agree with you, it's not fair. Women, and I think my sister wants money. Yes, you want money, I agree with you, 100%. In fact, I would get to say you don't need money, but what you need is equipment that equip you to start your business. That's what you need. If government is making money available, in fact, many of these schemes, all what we needed was just to say, if I need a drip irrigation pipe, that government or the institution that is given the resources to buy those for me, and I go and do my work. The rest is what we are discussing, which is the market. So what we are supposed to do was to concentrate on ensuring that you produce quality agricultural produce and the market is guaranteed. So I agree with you. All what we need is all what it takes for us to produce, and then the rest is covered. Well, with NAMRA, I wish they are here, could not answer on their behalf, but I think it's a very relevant information. Oh, okay. Yeah, my colleagues will be able to deal with that. Yes, I want to agree with Comrade Zinda. I think the issue of natural resources is a continent. Just imagine it's a continent. We are the one who hold everybody. If we decide today to say no natural resources should leave Africa, the rest of the world will paradise. That's the potential that we have. But yes, take us as politicians, as leaders, to provide leadership to say, let all our natural resources should not leave Africa before they are processed. And I think that is an opportunity that we have as young people. Yeah, so that we can own our natural resources. The youth budget, we are not quite by my brother Michael. We demand, together with the Deputy Minister here, we demand and we continue to demand one day we'll win that battle. So with the veterans. Yeah, I think those are some of the issues that we raised that I could be able to answer. Thank you.
I think the biggest challenge to harmonization is that different states have or are different economic levels, so they have different needs. I think that is the biggest challenge to harmonization of monetary policies and the tax incentives that we're talking about. The good news is that also most states have the same issues: the issue of unemployment, the issue of providing a bigger budget, the issue of so they also have similar issues, and I think with similar problems and similar challenges, you can come together and organize. And it doesn't only save you resources in terms that you don't have countries racing with each other to reduce their taxes so that they get investments, but it also gives an opportunity that everyone that can invest will invest not because of a different sort of regime. I'll give an example. In East Africa, Council of Ministers put directives that, for example, if you get an incentive in Uganda for 10 years, Kenya shouldn't be able to give you that same incentive. You've already taken up that incentive. What that means that when you come in Kenya, you pay taxes. Kenya government will get money, their government will put in the investment. So it's a win-win situation. In terms of then what we do, I think we, as young people, we then say that there will be tariffs that will be eliminated, yes, but there will also be those that call essential tariffs, so the essential things that will remain. Then we can ask that, we start from that point and harmonize. The protocol talks about, for example, economic, free economic zones, for example, which have different taxing regulations for themselves. Then the question would be, so what happens if someone is an economic zone, someone is not, and is living within the same environment? So that's where the harmonization comes in. It takes time, it's a hard process, but it can be done. And for example, in South Africa, we started with customs, we harmonized. we are now going to the difficult parts of the domestic taxes. And so countries are still talking amongst each other. But what that helps is that you don't lose twice. You don't lose in terms of, as a government, you don't get revenue, but also even those that are potentially going to come and invest and purport to give young people jobs and are not getting them, you're also losing on the part of young people in terms of those sort of jobs. So I think the recommendation would be, as young people, we've started this protocol. There is already an article around organization. We could just say that we help we put the necessary pressure on our governments to actually walk the talk. Like I said, Namibia, so far has shown that when it commits, it can actually walk the talk. But I think for other governments, it's just a matter of saying, we win together, we lose together. No one benefits when everyone is competing with each other. So I think that's where I was saying, and I like comrade there who said that they should recommend that we harmonize some of these fiscal and financial incentives that we're giving to young people. And the idea or the thing is that it will not happen today, but eventually it can happen. I think that was it for me.
Thank you very much, my dear panel. I did hear a recommendation from Honorable and just a recommendation for the protocol, and then we close.
So one, it should give voice to all participants. So the dispute section of the document should give voice to everybody. Everybody, men, women should have the same, not just the state actors, not just the state entities, but also everybody that will be affected by that should have a voice, which means the rules, how you negotiate, how you resolve disputes. I should be able to bring a matter without waiting for my committee to do that. So you shouldn't sideline women's voices, you shouldn't sideline individual voices, because individuals are the ones that will implement the act, not the state. It's going to be affected by individuals.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. There was one question about the market. I think that I omitted, but I think the market is provided. It's just they have the institutions that need to make sure that they do their work. When it comes to horticultural production, and I think even maize, AMCA is supposed to absorb all those products into the market. Now, my last one is, yes, we have 1.3 billion people that need to be fed. So as young people, let's think about being farmers, because you'll be the next billionaire. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just a brief one on the question regarding NAMRA, and in the context of the cross-border trade, and most probably we get in the newspapers regarding NAMRA. During my presentation, there were 20 other slides that I didn't present because of the details. One of the things we have is a trade facilitation committee that is chaired by NAMRA, and it's in conformity with two protocols. The first one is the World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement, and then the other one is the AfCFTA one. NAMRA chairs that committee, and MIT is the vice chair of that committee. And that committee has started moving. We have developed terms of reference. And most crucial, we'll probably send out invitations after this meeting to different groups that will be represented in that. We do have a stakeholder list now, but the input we have received here will definitely help us to broaden the scope of what that membership will look like. But very important, basically how to remove the barriers to actual physical trade. That's what it is about. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And NAMRA is invited, and they've always been part of the negotiations at the AfCFTA.
Okay, I hope that question is answered. So, Thank you very much.